They're asking 10 each on these. All right, guys, let's take a look at the loot that I got from the Saturday show in San Antonio. So everything I bought, I had intentions for. I'm not a VHS collector, but this would look really good with a Ken Shamrock display. I got a handful of Shamrock figures, more than I actually thought. I have a couple of the Bone Crunching, the Jakks Classic, and then I got a couple of the, actually I've got all of his Mattels, and so I think that'd be really cool just to add to my Octagon display and MMA display. And then in addition to that, maybe find a spot for this to also put. This was the very first UFC that I ever took a look at. They had a story on this old show called A Current Affair talking about if the UFC should be banned, and that same night that they were airing UFC number 3, and that's when I first caught wind of it. I went to the video store. This is the one that I rented first. This is the one that was a 16-man tournament, and Pat Smith took on Royce Gracie in the finals. That was a great experience. Got this rock for a rock display, and more to add to my rock display, figure out something to do with it. And then I was really happy to find this at one of the nearby stores. This wasn't the vendors, it was just one of the stores inside the mall. But this is gonna look great if I can find some room in my Road Warriors display, because that's continuously growing. Maybe even put in my, I ran out of room, maybe put in my other Road Warriors display. That's actually probably a better deal for it, but just love the way that look. And I don't plan on collecting more VHSs anytime soon, but I just couldn't resist. I haven't seen too many of these VHSs in person in a while when it comes to either wrestling or UFC, but I think those are going to start to get a little bit more collectible as the years get on, especially the UFC, some of the old school wrestling stuff, if not already. So I actually found this Black Adam that's going to go in my rock display, $5. So couldn't pass over that. And then on the way home, also checked out a couple of the Walmarts on the way home. So you pick up this 2-pack. I love how this one has the Undertaker, this name on the championship. Couldn't pass over that. Not too big a fan of those basics in there, but another MVP. These are actually kind of hard to find in store, and I was actually surprised that this was still around. But I have a nice MVP display, and that continues to grow. And I've barely gotten a sniff of anything in my area for the Monday Night Wars. Of course, everyone I think is anxious to get that Stone Cold Steve Austin and Scott Hall. And those are my number 1s, number 2s on the list. And the Hogan was number 3. This is the only one that they had left. In my area, these aren't even, the display's not even out yet. And every place I've seen at the trade show, upcharging it, asking a minimum 40 bucks for the Hogans, 50 for Austin, and some places even 50 for the Hogan and Scott Hall and 60 for the Austin. But nonetheless, I was able to get this at the retail and still in the hunt for the Stone Cold one. I just refuse to pay the upcharge for it just yet because I'm not out of the game. So found this Elite Bret Hart, 10 bucks. I didn't think that was a bad deal. You know, people are just, I've seen people ask for this Bret, you know, anywhere from 20 to 25. So I thought 10 was a good deal in person. This basic $1 Million Man, this looks almost as good as the Elite. So I decided to go ahead and pick this one up. It was at a pretty cheap price. And then these cards, I'm not a card guy, but I just been starting to display some of the cards in my display, especially my main displays, the ones that feature some of my favorite wrestlers. And I'm a real big fan of this Harlem Heat one. I love this. Of course, I love Bret. He's one of my top two. And then my John Cena display, my Outsiders display, but even though they didn't have a Scott Hall, but you know, I do have some X-Pac there. And then this Cactus Jack card looks really sweet, so I decided to go ahead and pick that one up as well. But that's it for this past weekend's pickups.